Yeah, he loves his sport so much. A very good morning, Mr. Bill Carne. And I'm only surprised you're here because you've had a very, very late night.
Yeah, not bad for an old fogey. We got home at about 1:10 this morning. I'd been to the Cardiff City Stadium to watch Haverfordwest Epic performance there. They're in the second round of the European competition. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And am I right in thinking this is history making, isn't it, Bill?
Yeah, the club's never done that before. They played once before against an Icelandic team, I think about 2004, 5, something around there. And, there's been efforts since to try and get it, and they've done it this year. And they've done it the same way. They got through in the playoffs on penalty shootouts twice. Guess what happened last night? A goal 1 minute from the end gave them the win. Yeah, Lee Jenkins was thrilled to saw that and the noise from the supporters were incredible last night. Yeah. And then penalty shootout, missed the first penalty, 1-0 down, scored the next 3-1 up, and missed one penalty. It was left to Zach Jones. It was 3-3, Zach Jones facing the last penalty, and he saved it. And it just erupted. There were 1,717 supporters, they tell us, over the tannoy, and it sounded like 111, 717.
I was going to say the atmosphere must have been absolutely immense last night, and the roller coaster of emotions as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It was amazing. I watched it. I wasn't able to go. I watched it on Scorio. There was one of their live games on their YouTube channel, so I put that up on my TV and I watched it at home. And that range of emotions and the second half and into extra time was nail biting stuff, and it was just incredible.
If you weren't there, they only had one camera there. Did Scorio, which was a pity. But the actual atmosphere in the stadium was electric. The support remained constant throughout. I mean, first half, the side from North Macedonia, they're very professional, kept possession very calmly. Haverfordwest were chasing shadows for a lot of the time, but they kept at it. They kept plugging away. I think Tony Pennock's philosophy is last 20 minutes, 0-0, let's throw it at them. And Tony's a great tactician. And what was impressive as well, Tom and Gina, as well as the team which you couldn't fault in terms of effort. Jazz Richards led by example last night. People were going down with cramp. It was so dramatic. Even the referee sometimes was tending to players with cramp. And people doing it to opponents as well, stretching their leg. And then that penalty shootout. And after the game, just erupted.
Yeah.
I was with Tom Pritchard in the press box. It was only us two, and then nobody within 30 yards. And I had the biggest hug off Tom, who was quite a taciturn old boy, young boy. And he was so thrilled. And he summed up the spirit in the camp. I going home on the bus, someone showed me their lucky bit of coal that they'd had in their coal, would you believe, in their hand all the way through the game. People were saying, what they'd done with their good luck charms on the night. It was a very happy occasion. There'd be some sore heads, not from drink, I hasten to add, but from shouting this morning.
Shouting. And some new heroes that have been born in the Bridge Meadow. A lot of fan favourites left, of course, at the end of last season. You look, Abrazizi's been there for a season already. He solidified himself early on that he was going to be a really good player. But Whitmore, Borg, who else was Lee Jenkins, all outstanding.
Lee Jenkins he scored a goal, but he was just so superb in defence. Borg, as you say, I wasn't very impressed by him when he came to the club. He played at the heart of the defence there, was fabulous. But I say, it's a great tribute to the academy system there. Yori Humphreys came on late, Lucas Davis came on, Harry John came on late. And they all, they looked like boys against men. They're kids. And they gave 100% as well. And got stuck in. I love the way Yori Humphreys is the son of the father, because his dad was a bit Neil, who's known as Hunchy. They were there last night, as they were in Macedonia, mum and dad. Was a rough one in rugby. But Yori's got his father's bit of dog about him, and he's more skillful than Neil ever was, of course.
Yeah.
It's great. He was fine.
Lucas, who you just mentioned there from the academy, he came on with 3 minutes to go. He's played more European minutes than JD Cymru Premier League minutes. He came on for 2 minutes against Airbus. He's got more European minutes.
Yeah, well, his dad, Paul, and his mum were there. his granddad would have been so thrilled. He played for Whittle and Gina Hilliard-Davis,
Oh,
one of
yes.
the best all-round cricketers in the county, who sadly passed away. If he looking down last night, he would have been so proud, as every parent, every grandparent would be. It was just, you cannot say enough about the effort last night, and the players that have come in seem to have adopted Tony's philosophy. I can imagine Rob Edwards was a little bit happy there last night, the sort of fruition of his dreams. So yeah, it was just an amazing night. I know they play a team from the Faroe Islands, and that means more travel. But people will go out. People on the bus last night were talking about how they were going to get there and which way. And then that's next Thursday. And the following Thursday will be the home game. I assume it'll be at Cardiff City Stadium, but who knows?
If it's free.
Yeah, well, yeah.
But yeah, incredible. And well, the influx of a friend of mine messaged me and it was like, this probably means that between qualifying and getting through to this second round, the Bridge Meadow is now going to be, the bank's going to be filled up a little bit as well. So he was saying Haverfordwest could now become a real contender for top 4 places in the league.
That's
in
right.
The years to come.
If you look at sides like TNS and Carnarvon, they've done very well over the years on the money that they get. I mean, the money that's bandied about is incredible. I've heard sums between 270,000 and 350,000 for getting through again now.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of dosh to support sport, football in particular in Haverfordwest. So yeah, brilliant.
It really is.
All
Oh,
good.
it's so exciting. You mentioned Whitland and cricket there. There's the cricket's getting tense, Bill.
Indeed it is. If you look at the results, I mean, the forecast you just read out, Tom, isn't brilliant tomorrow. And, you know, rain is forecast throughout the day. It was last week. So we've got to hope there'll be some cricket. But in Division 1 in particular, things are hotting up, as is inevitable. Top game's got to be Neyland, who are top against Cresselly, who are third. Big batting sides, a pair of them. But I think Neyland shade the bowling attack there. But it'll be a game to watch. I just hope it goes ahead now. Carew will be waiting. I'd be interested to know what Sean. I should have asked him. I spoke to him last night. Their captain Sean Whitfield, which result he'd want in the top game, because Carew plays Saundersfoot second versus sixth. Branston are keen for points. They're ninth and they're home to St Ishmael's. We're fourth, doing really well. Mid-table, Loreni fifth against Nawa seventh, and at bottom of the table clash really, Langham was surprisingly as low as eighth, and they're playing Burton, who are bottom. So that's going to be interesting as well. And in Division 2, of course, there's a couple of games of interest there. Whitland do a second, play Johnson who a 10th. You'd think walk over for Whitland, but Johnson have won their last 3 games. They're playing with great spirit. They've got a couple of boys, young Boswell, Lewis Boswell, and Lee Summons, who scored centuries in recent weeks now, had another big knock each last week. So anything can happen there. And of course, Haverfordwest are eager to go straight back up. They're playing at the Dock, who are fourth, Haverfordwest top, and Whitland, they say, are playing Johnson. So loads of cricket going on this weekend. Saturday, and Sunday, there's plenty as well.
Yeah, Tish will be very happy considering that they spent most of last season very nervously crouched at the bottom of the table there to be fourth. They've done very well. As you just mentioned, there Langham will be disappointed.
They will indeed. One of the troubles there is their players are so popular for going to weddings and stag night. When I was a youngster, stag night was a few pints with your mates in the local. Now they're off to Prague or Croatia. They only go for about 6 days or so.
I was saying, when we got married, Cliff went for a few pints down Hook Club.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
And the comment always is, last night, one of the youngsters said to me, I'm going off in a fortnight to a stag do. And I can't remember if he said Prague. He said, it's only £1 a pint day. He said, we can get sloshed for 3 days.
I couldn't do it.
Rather them than me,
yeah. As well as the league fixtures, Bill, the Harrison Allen Bowl semi-finals. Yeah,
I missed both of them for the first time for as long as I could remember because of family commitments. But interesting results there. Saundersfoot, who I thought this year might upset and get the final, might upset a few there as well. But they were shot out by Loreni, an experienced side, for 79, sadly, for them. Jamie Lewis, the skipper of Loreni, who we've got on the show on Monday. He had 3 for 24. Steve Lewis, another old-timer, 3 for 20. And Ryan Morton, 3 for 23. Loreni struggled at the start. The wickets were a bit damp underfoot. Gina, you'd understand that far more than Tom. The wickets weren't easy batting, but Loreni lost 4 wickets early on. Then Kyle Marsh blasted 39 not out as only he could. Ryan Morton, who's a key player in the final, 29 not out, so they won. Neyland, when I was listening to it on the way home on Play Cricket while Marilyn was driving, and they only scored 127 for 9 against Carew. Now, you know, Gina, Carew is strong bat inside, and I thought, that's going to be not a shock result, but Neyland are expected to win. Lo and behold, all of a sudden, Patrick Hannon, who wasn't playing in the semi-final because he had a very sore side near his hip, he had to play to help out, bowled off 3 paces, took 4 wickets for 14, and all of a sudden, Carew were 20 for 4. Never recovered from it. They were 98 for 9 at the end. Ross Hardy and Jack John certainly played their part as well. So the final is between Loreni and Neyland on the 26th of August. Gina will tell you where, Tom. Where's the final played?
Oh, Cresselly. No, yes, it is Cresselly, isn't it?
It is. Of course, it
Yes,
is. Well
of
done.
course
The
it is.
traditional home of the
I'm glad I got my question right. Could we have that on a Thursday, please, Tom?
I'll see what I can do for you, Gina. Bill, you'll be impressed. I watched an over of cricket on the weekend as well. I was going around the race course, and I stopped over and I was like, "Can we watch this over?" I had somewhere to go, sadly, but I finally watched an over of cricket.
Yeah, well, you've been blooded now, so we'll lead you into it gradually. Perhaps you will watch 5 overs next time.
I'll see what I can do.
What a sad life. Only ever watch 1 over of cricket in Pembrokeshire.
I know. I know that we talked about it before, but that whole spirit of driving your car and having it on the boundary, which I personally wouldn't do for fear of having my windows knocked in. But what a lovely way to spend an afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, there's old fogies you mentioned, Haverfordwest. I go there on a Saturday just to see Stuart Williams, who's the president of the club, and Roger Thomas, former secretary, affectionately known to all as Beamer. And he often brings me then from his allotment a pile of potatoes with a name on them and things like that. Not written on them, I don't mean in a box. I better make that clear. And we have a chat. And then a lady who does the cooking and things for Stuart always puts in a bit of, don't tell Mrs. Khan, fruitcake for me. And you know, wherever you go, there you meet people you played against. Or if Cliff went to watch cricket now, Gina, he wouldn't watch all the cricket. He'd be talking to people.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, it's wonderful. And in fact, we'll stick with Whitland. We're gonna come back to the ladies, but Whitland Cricket Club, they've got a special game coming up, haven't they?
There's a big game. There's been a couple of games, if you don't mind me mentioning them, Tom.
You go for them.
There's a big game today at Hook. They're playing against the MCC. Now, they're not top-class players from the Marylebone Cricket Club in London. They're Welsh players in general who are very good players, who are MCC members. And our Hook today are playing them as part of their centenary celebrations. They've got a great length. Apparently, there's a huge tea put on there. I've been invited, but I don't think I can go.
There's tea?
And a huge tea, and I'm missing it. I'm trying to be a better person, Gina. And and on Sunday at Whitland Cricket Club, there's a tinge of sadness. It's a memorial game for Rob Benjamin, who's a great character. And our thoughts are with Anne-Marie and the 2 boys, Gethin and Sean. They've put it on with help. And it's against a Mike Phillips 11, former Welsh rugby international, you know. But Mike has recruited, hopefully, people like Simon Jones, former fast bowler for England, Robert Croft, off-spin bowler, Sean Hawley, who's a great commentator on television, analyst now, and quite a few. And James Cub Davis, one of my favourite rugby players. I'm going there just to have a chat to Cubby, amongst other things. So I'm hoping I'll get an interview there with him for the show, because he was always ready to be interviewed when he was playing, so he should be now. So there's big games on this week. Today, hopefully the weather will hold, and Sunday I'm praying for good weather, because that's for charity as well in Whitland. in memory, great game in memory of a great man, Benji. Yeah, a character.
Yeah.
Extra treat for you on Sunday then, Bill.
Well, Mrs. Carne will come with that because she likes going to Whitland. We got a special rapport Marilyn has with the people there. Although they're a funny lot in Whitland because they're outside the county, I'm told. I always have been.
I'll make you a promise then, Bill.
What's that?
I'll come and have a nice picture with you and Marilyn.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'll come and see you.
Yeah, bring Tom as well.
No, I'll bring Cliff.
Cliff and the lovely Helen.
We'll get the crew together.
Yeah.
And in fact, so what I'm loving, Mike Phillips he's really like he played in the match last season for rugby. He's been involved in this Whitland Memorial match as well. He brought Andy Powell, one of his rugby mates, down to the club the other week. He's embracing his roots a little bit.
Yeah, I've listened to Andy Powell once, never forgotten. Blimey,
Oh, wowzers. I love it. And then you mentioned Sean Holly there. Sean Holly's also a keen golfer. And Anna King says hello. Anna is with us. Peter's with us, as is Helen Marie. I'm just putting their comments up there. Anna's son is having a junior captain's day at Milford Haven Golf Club. So, Sean,
do you know,
one to look out for.
Milford Haven Golf Club is a hotbed of talent, and the drive that's provided there by their coaches, quite amazing. It's a really good place to take kids to play golf, I can tell you that.
Yeah. Now, we just mentioned Benji there with the Memorial game. There's been another passing as well, isn't there, Bill, in the world of Pembrokeshire sport?
Sadly, there has. There's been two, and both very, very sad. Glyn Jones died at 59, a former Narberth rugby second row, and he and his brother Di played in the forwards for Narberth, Tom and Gina, at an exciting time when the national leagues came in, and Glyn was a mighty player, very quiet, very unassuming. Di is the effervescent one. Glyn was the one who was happy to be in the background, but a real worker, and he passed away, and I'm so sad because he leaves behind a very loving family and community. He was a farmer. Those two started Princess Gate Water. They discovered on the stream on their farm was very pure, and lots of good minerals, and that's how they got. I used to say to the pair of them, the only millionaires I know who made money out of bottling their own water.
That's not bad, is it?
Yeah, and Chris Bradshaw then sadly over the weekend passed away. Now, Chris was a great man in the background for St. Ishmael's, where his wife Wendy is Mrs. St. Ishmael's. I know that's a cliche, but without her, I'm convinced there wouldn't be cricket in St. Ishmael's in the way it is, because she has been an asset. And Chris has been so supportive of that. He'd cut the outfield whenever it was needed. He was always in the background, but always working there. And my heart goes out to the lovely Wendy and to Peter, who's the longest serving player in St. Ishmael's, brilliant cricketer, plays for the county, and his sister Sarah. So it's a very sad time for sport in Pembrokeshire.
Yeah. Now, our thoughts and condolences go out to everyone that's affected, the immediate family, the clubs, because the loss of a club man can have a real impact on everyone. So our thoughts are with everyone that's been impacted there. Looking forward, Bill, to Monday evening, the Pure Sports Show, the Eaton Evans and Morris Solicitors. You've been out and about having a chat on with three different people. You've already mentioned one of them, actually, Patrick. Who else have we got in store? Well,
I spoke to a captain and a player from both the winning teams in the Harrison Allen, and I teased Sean Hannon, who's the captain. And I phoned him and said, look, you're on air all the blinking time. You're a bit of a, I keep telling him he's got the face for radio, and he's only a young fella. And then his twin, Patrick, who's the older twin by 20 minutes. I know all this interesting
Yeah, you know all
stuff.
info.
I want to know. I say to him, who's the older one, And Patrick, he was one of the stars, 4 for 14. You can't fault that. So, as someone saying now about Anna King saying about Wendy Bradshaw. And, our thoughts go out to the family and to all involved at Tish. But, so I'm talking to Patrick Hannon instead of Sean. Now, Patrick can I thought Sean could talk, but Patrick had beat him. I had the job stopping him on. He said, how long is that? I said, 6 minutes, 31 seconds. He said, oh, I thought it was only about 4 minutes. I said, yeah. So Patrick is there, and it's very interesting. And then the captain, first season ever for Lorraine, is Jamie Lewis, whose dad, Rob, was a very prominent member of the Pembrokeshire County Council for many years as a councillor. And he's on. Now, Gina, he suffered. Have you ever heard of this? He was due to play for Lorraine in a cup final. I think it was against Haverfordwest. They were having their warm-up before the start, hitting the ball up, taking catches. And it had been raining and the outfield was a bit damp. And he slipped and badly damaged his knee. So he spent the whole of the Harrison hour, he got back in time to see the presentation. And they lost. But he was conveyed to hospital and didn't play in the game. So he's now back as captain, which is brilliant. So well done to Jamie for that fight back. And the other character is a big character in every sense. Michael Jenkins is just won a silver medal in the World Youth Paralympic Games in the shot put. He's just as good in other throwing events as well. He lives in Llandyssilio. He's under 18. How tall do you think he is, Gina?
Oh gosh, right.
Shot put is a traditionally squat, short. You know.
Right, so he's 6'2".
7 foot.
Oh, you're not going to miss him then.
Well, you wouldn't miss him. He's won an award in the Sports Awards, Pembrokeshire Sports Awards. He's won several over the years, and quite rightly so because of his exploits. But I said to him last year, every time I see you, I seem to be looking further up your nostrils because he's so tall. but
that's because the older you get, Bill, the shorter you go.
Don't say that.
So every year you're going to be looking even further up.
He can't grow much more, but he's a lovely boy, and his parents, his mum is smashing. I was talking to her this week on the phone, and they're so thrilled and so supportive. It's great. Pembrokeshire sport is amazing, isn't it? When you think of the diversity that's there, disability sport is going on, and that's another thing I should be mentioning as well. That tomorrow in Haverfordwest, in the new school, I call it. Tom will know what the new school is. But in the sports hub there, there's a very special event tomorrow, dear to my heart, from 11:30 till 6ish. There's a bocce tournament in memory of Jacob Thomas, who we know very well, was one of my heroes in sport. How he did so well was just amazing, a tribute to the family. And there's a sporting event, bocce tournament, but a chance for anyone who wants to try that, disabled or not, to go along and try it. And if you go there, you'll be marveling at how good he was. But perhaps take it up as a sport, because it's 6 balls you bowl, color, one lot blue, one lot red, and they range from being like a sponge to a cricket ball. And you pick which ones you want to bowl in a sequence, and then it's like bowls getting nearest the jack. It's fascinating.
Amazing.
So tomorrow, get along there. If it's raining, you cricketers, get along. Anyone else? You've got from 11:30 till 6 to take part in something that you'll enjoy. I promise you that.
And that's Haverfordwest High in the sports.
Whatever it is called there, yeah. Where they've got the amazing sports facilities,
That's the one. Well, thank you so much, Bill, for another brilliant Pembrokeshire Sports update, and the first response to the amazing football that we saw last night. I'm still amazed at that result. It is Friday though, Bill, and looking forward to another weekend of sport. But we need you to sign off with another song.
Yeah, can I just mention one other thing? Otherwise, I'll be shot. The ladies, their semi-finals were on this week, the Clive Huxley Cup.
Oh,
and
yes.
in that, Hook beat Haverfordwest, thanks to people like Katie Farr and Casey Aaron, Sam Rossiter, Pam Asson, brilliant for Hook. And Burton lost to Cresselly Strong, Megan Arthur 35 and 3 for 6, Ava Midgley 2 for 10. So the final of that Clive Huxley Cup is at Stackpole, which is where Clive played his cricket, and his daughter Buggy Kath played as well. And that's on Sunday, the 23rd of July, 12:30. Go out and see real village cricket.
Yeah,
I love it.
Good fun.
Bill, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone having a wonderful sporting weekend there. And Bill, how are you? Well, it's Feel Good Friday. What have you got in store for us today?
Well, you'll always very kindly let me pick the first song. And I know I'm an old fogey. I know I tend to go back into the 60s. I'm going to surprise you with a couple over the next couple of weeks. Of course, they're chosen by Mrs. Carne, who's far more modern than me. But this week, one of my favourite singers, I could sing all his songs now. I know Gina can because she did this morning. She sings them well. I sing them badly. It's Bobby V. And Take Good Care of My Baby.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to this
Brilliant
one.
song. Love it. I think everybody should be singing along with this.
Yeah.
I think so. Bill, thank you as ever for your time and waking up after a late night last night on the bus. And I look forward to catching up again next week after another fantastic week of Pembrokeshire Sport. If you want the latest result, pembrokeshiresport.co.uk is where you need to go for all of your Pembrokeshire sporting knowledge, courtesy of Bill and Gordon. Thank you so much, Bill.
Pleasure. You too. Have a
Bye.
good weekend. Look forward to seeing you soon.
It's 7:37 here this morning on Pure West Radio. Feel Good Friday coming up next.
Feel Good Friday with Pem's